We're just going to give it a couple of seconds as we see the attendees rolling in, and we'll get started shortly. Just going to give it a bit more time as I see a lot of people joining. Okay, let's get started. Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you everyone for joining us today on a webinar where we will talk about how Biome Makers can help boost sales with data-driven insights. My name is Sarah Bassiri, and I am the Global Head of Marketing at Biome Makers. And I am joined by my two colleagues, Dr. Jacob Parnell and our Head of Sales in the US, Jim, and I will give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. But while we do that, I'm going to launch a quick poll where I'm hoping you guys can give us a sense of which of the following industries you fall under, or job functions you fall under, and that can help us shape our discussions to the attendees that are attending the session today. So while everyone's answering the poll, I'm hoping that we can start the introductions, maybe with Jim, and then we'll move on to Dr. Purnell.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Good morning, everybody. Jim Krebsbach, U.S. lead for the retail Biome Makers, and I've been in the industry, dating myself, but a good 30 years now, so a lot of experience. And coming to Biome Makers has actually been pretty interesting. I've usually been in actual fertility type product sales, but now that we have this data product, it's really cool, and really the amount of data that we can show and share, and really how it's going to enable confidence, especially around biologicals, is just going to be eye-opening. So appreciate your time this morning, and welcome.
And I'm Jacob Parnell. I am the Director of Agronomy at Biome Makers, and I've been involved with soil science for, I've got my PhD, and I've been involved with soils since then. I've been in academia, I've been in industry, I've been in also in some government kind of research organizations. So I've worked with kind of different areas. So with Utah State University and NC State University in academia, I worked with a manufacturer, kind of a biologicals manufacturing company, Novozymes, for several years. And then I've worked with it's the NEON project in the US, and with FAO in Rome most recently, and I'm with Biome Makers now. I have a lot of experience with microbiomes and with soil biodiversity.
Great, and thank you. Dr. Purnell is actually joining us now from Peru, as he's attending a big international conference on soil. So thank you for being with us today. Before we begin the agenda for today's session, we'll cover a little bit about who Biome Makers is and our technology, and some of the solutions that can help you guys boost sales with data-driven insights. We'll provide a quick demo of our platform, and hopefully answer any questions that you have. And this session is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be provided to you within the next 24 hours. So if you've registered, be on the lookout for that link, and you can watch it anytime. If you have any questions, you don't have to wait until the end. Make sure you ask your questions while we're going through the session, and we've dedicated about 15 minutes at the end of this session to go through all your questions. If we don't get to them, we'll make sure that somebody within our team sends you an email and connects with you. And as I mentioned, we're going to provide a demo during this session. And if you are interested in a more in-depth demo, visit us online and request for a demo there. You can respond to the email that we sent you within the next 24 hours, or I will add my email address to the comment section of this session, and you guys can connect with me directly and we will schedule a demo. So without further ado, we will get started. I'm actually going to close the poll here. It seems like we have a pretty good list of people attending, and it seems like there are, across the board, we have manufacturers, we have independent advisors, and retailers and co-ops. So thank you all so much for attending this session, and we will get started. And I'm going to share my screen, and Jacob, if you could let me know if you're able to see it, just so I can make sure it's broadcasting correctly.
Nothing yet.
Okay.
There we go.
Perfect. Okay, I think it's in presentation mode now. Okay, so a little bit about Biome Makers. We got started back in 2015 in California, so almost a decade now, and we have become a global AgTech leader where we're setting the standard for soil health with our BeCrop technology. Now, over the past decade, we have done tons of work across the world, and we have been able to now build the largest global soil database. And with the help of AI and machine learning, we are able to provide actionable insights to the industry. So our impact so far, we have worked with 20,000 customers across the globe, and we have verified products and management practices. We're over 400 now. We have done work across 56 countries, analyzed over 200 crops. We have collaborated with tons of industry partners, have worked across different universities and government agencies to help them also understand the impacts of soil and soil biology and soil health. And we're proud to now announce that we have worked and impacted 40,000 plus customers, or sorry, farmers across the world. Now, we're able to help our clients, who are mostly advisors, retailers, manufacturers, and growers, by helping them understand the impact of their products and management practices on soil. And we use this by sequencing the DNA of soil and utilizing our proprietary database that, again, as I mentioned earlier, consists of the largest global soil. And we are able to utilize all of that to provide recommendations and agronomic insights. So the way it works, it includes the extraction of the DNA through one of our own labs. We have one in the US and one in Spain, and we also work with several different labs. For those of us joining in the US, Region Ag Labs and Waters, several global labs where we have partnerships with, and they help us sequence the DNA and run it through our proprietary technology that is called BeCrop, and we transfer all those intelligence into a digital platform that provides sustainable insights and recommendations and roadmaps for our clients to meet their sustainability goals. Our approach and technology is truly changing the way we do agriculture today, and we're building trust with growers across the world because we now have the biological insights and the diagnostic tools to offer retailers and advisors and manufacturers such as yourself joining us today with intelligence to provide personalized and precise input recommendations that optimize management practices and helping you boost sales that are actually data-driven. And we are able to provide predictions into disease risk and soil management challenges. We are helping our clients with early detection of biological bottlenecks for optimizing farm management and provide actionable recommendations to prevent disease and improve crop health. Now, with our technology and sort of giving you an insight into what it does and how we work, wanted to sort of cover two different solutions that we offer at Biome Makers that we feel could be fit for you guys attending the session today. And these solutions will help you cover and structure your programs so that you can help your clients and your farmers with trials of biological products all the way to commercializing those products and proving their impacts on soil. So I will actually pass it on to my colleague Jim to walk us through the next several slides.
All right, great. Thanks, Sarah. Just a couple quick notes before I talk about our actual products. You know, we were at a conference last week, the World Biostimulant Congress, and a lot of people from all over talked to mostly industrial or industry type people, not a lot of growers attending, but you know, the economy in agriculture was talked about a lot, and it seems like we're on a little bit of a downturn right now. And I did a little bit of digging in, you know, Crop Life 100. I think everybody, I mean, most everybody knows who Crop Life is. They're well-respected publication in the ag industry, but they come out with their top 100 ag retailers every year. And they did a little preview, and it's kind of telling, you know, we're down revenue-wise in the industry several $1 billion from just a couple of years ago. So there is money coming out of the industry, and then, you know, that's at the retail level. So I went and I took a look, how about growers? How are they doing? And USDA net farm income is projecting or forecasting for 2024. It's going to be about a $42 billion drop from 22. So there is a little bit of a downturn, but I think our tools that we're going to talk about here really can help alleviate some of those strains, help grow sales, and really help farmers and growers put their dollar where it's going to be utilized the most. So just kind of wanted to open with that a little bit, because one thing I always look at when we're positioning a product is what problem are we trying to solve. So just kind of keep that in your mind as we go. So you can go to the next slide, Sarah, please. So talking about our trials, and this product is really designed for the manufacturer, what it could be a biological company, biostimulant, maybe a specialty nutrient company that really wants to get data and more information, if you will, especially below ground on their product and how it's really doing in their replicated trials. Because, you know, I've been part of trials in my career, and you always look above ground. What's the yield? You know, what's biomass? You're taking pictures of plant growth, but we really haven't taken a snapshot of what it looks like below ground, and that's where BeCrop trials comes in. So we will sit down with you and we will help you set up your trial, you know, number of replications, number of treatments, and then we'll put a plan in place and really how we want to sample that, because we want the benchmark right before sampling, and then we want to take samples post-treatment to really give you a story and the data on what's happening with that microbiome. Are we changing the abundance? Are we changing the diversity? And with that information, now you can go and you can register your product more correctly. You can put the proper claims on your label. So it really gives you more data to put your product in a much better spot than I think what the industry's had in the past. So next slide. In one way, we take a look at the data. So whether you're that input manufacturer You know, we talk about the below ground. What is that biological impact? It really helps with that mode of action. So and we had this question actually quite a bit last week at the conference. Can you help us with registrations? What kind of claims can we make that will get the product approved and registered quickly? Because obviously time is money and we want to get to the market as quick as we can. So our trial product can help with that. Really can help you hone in on your recommendations. I think I've heard from several customers that since they started doing our trials, they realized that they probably weren't actually putting enough of their, whether it was a biological or biostimulant out there. And this really helped them hone in on a more higher return on investment type rate. So those are things to look at if you're the manufacturer. Now, if you're a retailer, okay, but what does it do for me? Well, it really helps give you more data, because I mean, there's a lot of data out there today, but this is really good science-backed data. It can help you also do an on-farm demonstration. So if you want to do a higher scale than your small block replications, our BeCrop trial product really helps you with that. And then once you collect that data, you're more confident, you have more trust in what you're going to go out and position with your customers. So next slide.
I think one more thing to add, Jim, that we're seeing a lot with our clients is that they're using a lot of the trial data in their marketing collateral as well, as it really helps once you're on the field, you're talking to farmers, you're able to sort of back some of those claims with the science that we provide. And it also acts as a product differentiator when you have all those claims already verified and they're created in marketing collateral that you can then present and show how your product differs from the competition and why the farmer should be using your product.
Yeah, good point. So now we'll talk about our BeCrop farm and really where that fits. And this is more at scale. So this is kind of like a commercial product where retailers and growers can really go take a look at a full field, whether it's corn, soybeans, you know, whatever the crop is, and understand what's going on in that field so that they can make recommendations. It's really interesting, and we'll walk through that with Jacob later in the demo, but I'll give you a couple of the highlights right now on the next slide.
And I think one thing to add is that this solution was really developed because of the demand we were receiving from our clients. I think the industry is very much used to receiving these very long reports that they have to review and make sense of on their own. And they always looked for us to come up with a solution that provides all the insights, one at a very high level, what you can quickly change within your farm, and then get to a deeper level in terms of agronomic insights and product recommendations that Jim and Jacob will walk you guys through. But this was truly revolutionary for this industry because of the fact that we really needed to walk away from long and lengthy reports that are still available to you through the platform, and you'll see that later, but be able to really sit with a farmer, have them review their farm, look at their farm from an acre by acre basis, and be able to understand exactly where those deficiencies are, where you need to be sticking those biologicals, and where it makes the most sense. And all of that is backed by actual real biological scientific data that you can easily visualize and be able to implement in a timely manner. We'll walk through the key features, I think, once we go through the demo. So we'll just go through the next slide, Jim, if that's okay.
Sure. So the key takeaway when I learned about this product was, you know, we have a field and we've got the below ground data, and then what do we do with it? I think that was a big question, is how can we make this become useful? And our product development team has just been outstanding in really listening to our customers and to growers to help really improve the products that we release and offer to the field. And the neat thing about BeCrop Farm is once we get the data, the report, we'll actually have a drop-down window of what's recommended for whether it's mitigation on a pathogen, is there a nutrient pathway deficiency. We'll be able to tell and show with the data on what needs to be done. And this is really, to me, something that as a sales agronomist, when I'm out talking to a grower, now I have something that's right here. It's black and white. on why this product is recommended for this field. And just want to take a quick tangent, if you will. Stratus Ag Research, if you know who they are, I believe they're out of Canada. Every year they do a biological survey from growers in North America. You know, how do they like using biologicals? What's their experience? And pretty compelling information that came out in their 23 report. And basically what we're seeing is there's a big gap between what the product is expected to do, so basically the claim, and really what the performance is on what the grower sees at the end of the year through the combine or, you know, their harvester. And so how can we close that gap? How can we really get rid of that snake oil perception that sometimes the biological biostimulant industry still has? Well, BeCrop Farm is a perfect tool, perfect solution to help overcome that, because we can help close that gap. Through our trial work on the various products, we can help set the right expectations. That claims through mode of action. But now performance, now we can really measure and really help the grower understand and actually more precisely apply the, you know, biological biostimulant, especially nutrition, where it's needed, where it's going to make the most bang for your buck, if you will. And our recommendation table and tool is going to really, once everyone goes through the demo here coming up with Jacob, you're going to be like, wow, we really got to start using this BeCrop Farm product. Next slide, please. So because we're so confident in really you know, once you take a look at it, get your hands on it, we really feel that this is something that every retailer, every grower really is going to start asking for, because it's just another layer of data that is really needed to help make those right decisions, those informed decisions. And so what we want to offer today is kind of a strategy around how we can get your hands on, if you will, our BeCrop Farm product. And we want to do a demo. We call it a test drive. So give us a call, talk to your account rep, and if you have a field, you know, 30, 50 acres, whatever it is, that maybe production's off or you can't really figure out what's going on, or maybe it's a really good field and that grower wants to know, okay, I have tremendous yields here, I want to replicate that elsewhere, but I need to know what's going on here. We're going to give you a look. So the demo that we're going to go through today is an actual field that we've already sampled, but we want to actually sample a field that you know that you work with as part of the test drive. So we'll do that at no cost. There's no risk. We'll get the report put together. We'll sit down with you, our agronomy team will help deliver the product along with your account manager, so that we can walk through it, show you exactly what's going on in that field, and give you the confidence that what we're telling you today actually is going to happen. And then through that test drive, all we would ask is give us a chance to do a pilot, if you will, on a set number of acres of some scale, so that you get a broad look at it in 2025. And if you're a multiple location agronomy retailer, you know, maybe we don't have to do it with everyone. You can just kind of select who want to promote the BeCrop Farm product with. We'll go through specific training, how to position, how to utilize it. We'll get you set up in our portal, so actually, you know, when the reports come, you'll actually know how to review them. And then we'll sit down after spring, when you've got, you know, hopefully that 10, 15,000 acres under your belt, and you're like, this really helped us enable X% of sales because of the data we were getting. X number of growers, you know, we're looking at their crops. Everything looks really good. We'll go through that mid-year review. And then really what we'd like to do as we sit down at a time, okay, let's put a full plan in place. We know the majority of soil sample happens after harvest in the fall. So let's roll out a scalable program and get more of your growers, more of the retailers with this tool, so that we can continue that sales growth in overcoming some of those issues I brought up earlier with lost revenues, kind of a little bit of a downturn. Let's turn that around and let's use this tool to make up that difference. So the next slide. So everyone's probably asking what's the cost, and right now for the BeCrop Farm product, we're suggesting a retail price of $7 an acre. And I really think that value is really honed in pretty sharply. You'll see when we go through the demo, that value is really, to me, I'm probably gonna open up a can of worms. It might even be undervalued, but we'll leave it at that. And then BeCrop farm trials, or BeCrop trials, excuse me. This all depends on the size, number of locations, how many replications, how many treatments. We start at $250 per sample, and obviously you'll sit down with our trial person with Biome Makers, and we'll help develop what that right plan is. What's your objective? What are you really trying to gain from that trial? And we'll put the right plan in place, working together, and go from there. So that's our product. And Jacob, I believe now, is going to go through an actual demo and show you how the functionality and how everything works.
Thank you, Jacob, or Jim, sorry.
I think Jacob's frozen.
I'm frozen, but I'm
okay, still there.
And I'm making you a presenter. In terms of pricing, obviously these are our standard pricing that Jim shared with you guys, but it's important to understand your projects, your strategy, and thinking about how we can work together and building the right programs that are going to fit what you're looking to achieve. So definitely get in touch with us, and we can further discuss those with you. Jacob, let me know if you have presenter.
I think I have to go through and fix some settings really quick, but let me see if I can get this to work now. Do you see my screen?
No, I don't.
Interesting question that's come in. Maybe we'll answer this while Jacob is working through the screens. Is there a way to interact within the BeCrop platform to work with retailers as a manufacturer to provide efficiency and protocols for their growers? Jim, is that something you'd like to take on?
Yeah, Jacob maybe can answer a little bit more detail, but yeah, I mean, really the data that you get, so if you're the manufacturer and you have your trial portal with all your information there, that's your data, so you can really utilize it how you see fit. And if that's picking out certain pieces to share with your customers so that they can promote your products, that's certainly up to you. We can certainly help you walk through that and help identify what some of those key I call them nuggets, what those key nuggets are. But really it's up to you and what you're looking for, but certainly you can take your data and use it how you need to.
And yeah, I apologize. I was trying to fix this, and so I wasn't paying attention to the question. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Do you mind repeating that, Sarah?
I think Jim pretty much covered it, but it's all about how do manufacturers work with the retailers to provide efficacy and protocols for their growers.
Yeah, I mean that is extremely important for manufacturing, because I know that a lot of times there are a lot of what Jim talked about, the snake oil of why it didn't work, have to do with not following the manufacturer's specific recommendations that are very that often have a lot to do with the efficacy of the product, as they're applying it. So yeah, it's incredibly important, and that's one of the things that we can actually look at a little bit with our trials is kind of a little bit different approaches. I'm going to kind of jump into this. I'm going to start with, so this is basically, if you were to have kind of an account with us, do some works, and you said, okay, I'm going to do some stuff. All of the products that we would do, all of the projects would be listed here. And so right now we've got 4 projects listed here. And I'm going to start with this this product one because it's a trial. And one of the interesting things is this is a biostimulant product. and we can look at it and we can see that so we kind of have like a global overview when you first get in here, and it shows kind of how things work. So it's like, okay, you tested this in 2 different locations. There were 4 different time points. And in one of the locations, we saw a little bit of nutrient benefit. In one of the locations, we saw some improvement in the salicylic acid pathways, and then in both of the locations, we saw that there was some antifungal or fungicide type of agents that were going on. So one of the cool things that we have about this is that, for example, we're also able to say, well, what did the biology of those 2 different locations look like? Because we only saw the salicylic acid happen in one of the locations. Why did it happen in that location? Why did it not happen in the other location? And we can start to put that together to say, yes, this product doesn't do the same thing in every single location. It's slightly different. And we can start to kind of piece together, if we do enough of those locations of these trials, why does the salicylic acid work over here? Why does it not work over here? And what is it that works in another place that might still bring value to that product? So this is just kind of the opening page, but you can get into it. You can go down and you can, let's see, it's not, is it switching to the other page now? Or are you still on that previous page?
It did change. Yep.
Okay. So now we're able to go through and we're able to look specifically at kind of all of the categories, all of the locations, all of the times, and kind of really drill down kind of what Sarah was talking about. If you want to really drill down and see kind of the long report, all of the data that are there, here we've got that. We can select the different categories. So since this is a biostimulant, maybe what I'm going to look at is either the microbial phytohormone or stress adaptation. So let's look at phytohormone, for example. And now we're able to see how it worked in every time point, kind of what shifted, the different locations. So we've got those 2 different locations here, and all of the phytohormones that we have under there. So we're able to see where there are any differences. We could also just kind of go over here and say, I want to look at a major change. So I want to see the big changes that are happening. So, let's look under stress adaptation, and we're able to see here's, abscisic acid and salicylic acid that are showing up. We're seeing that we've got some pretty significant changes. The other thing that we can point out is that they're happening in different locations. So in one location, we see the abscisic acid is the one that's showing up. The other location, we're seeing the salicylic acid that's showing up. So this is helpful for a manufacturer to be able to really kind of start to pinpoint where this might be of greater value. And part of the reason for that is now I'm gonna kind of dig into what I see as the other side of this. So I see one side as almost like almost like a key. So we've got a key, and now we know, okay, when we've got this kind of biology, salicylic acid works or is enriched. Those pathways are enriched. When we've got, in another situation, we've got this other abscisic acid that is working. So now if we go to the farm side, so this is going to be our grower side. This is an example of a BeCrop farm. In this case, we've got 4 different fields, and you can see those here. We can drill down. We can just like the other one, we can kind of see that high level. These are the things that are kind of the most relevant are, phosphorus solubilization, nitrogen, potassium. So these are kind of the big issues that pop right out to say, if I'm a farmer and I want to say, yeah, I just want to know what's going on, right here it is. So you've got issues with potassium, phosphorus, and nitrogen. And then we can drill down more deeply into this if we want to. by clicking on kind of this view all of the results. And then as Jim pointed out earlier, we've got, let's see, we're able to kind of drill down into the details a little bit more. So let's look just first at that global nitrogen. So here you can see our values down here on the right. And again, these are our BeCrop scores. So what we do with this is we basically compare these samples. So in this case, we're comparing the nitrogen cycling of these samples to all of the other corn samples that we've ever looked at. And then we're basically putting it on this distribution of where it's high or where it's low. So it's basically saying that, you know, for this field, and you can click on this and it'll actually give you that score. What we're seeing is that it's at a 17. So it's in the 17 percentile of all of the fields that we've ever tested for corn. And we can see that it's kind of also the distribution within just that one very field, where almost 90% of it, you know, is in that very low category. So that lowest quintile of that BeCrop score. So we can see that here we've got very low. There are some areas, you know, if we were to click on this one, for example, we would be able to see that the distribution is slightly different. And we can see that in the, so it's almost like we are mapping these pathways the same way you would do for nutrients or other things like that. And this is extremely valuable. I'm going to come back to nitrogen in a little bit, but I wanted to show phosphorus really quickly. So you can go here and click on these, and it'll expand, and you can see basically all of our metrics that we use. So I'm going to click on the inorganic phosphorus solubilization, and I want to really look at a couple of things here. First of all, off to here on the left, right under that, you can see the view agronomic insights. So basically what we're saying is, let me slide this over a little bit more, is that in 2.5, you know, maybe we would say 3 of these fields, we've got issues with phosphorus. And so by clicking over here on the agronomic insights, we're able to kind of give you some ideas. Okay, these are some of the things that we have seen have an effect on phosphorus solubilization. So in soils that have this kind of profile, we have seen, as we've tested those 400 different products that Sarah was talking about, we have seen that these are some of the products that consistently improve phosphate solubilization. So now a farmer can go in here and they can say, oh, look, I can, you know, find a product with Bacillus megaterium. Now, as a retailer, what we can do is we can say, okay, what products do I carry that have Bacillus megaterium? So that I can basically look at the farmer and say, okay, we know what your problem is now in these 3 fields, 2.5 fields maybe, is that you've got, you know, a low phosphorus solubilization. Now we've got kind of that key from the trials that we've done. And so we can basically say, we know the answer to what you can do for these 3 fields. You can put in some phosphorus solubilization. Now, in the past, what we would have done is we would have said, oh, we need to put phosphorus solubilization everywhere, right? We just need to put it on everything. And it would have worked great for these 3 fields, but then, you know, for this 1.5 field, you would have said, wait, it didn't work here. You know, I didn't get, you know, so it works sometimes and it doesn't work other times. Now we've got that ability to be able to focus in and hone in and say, okay, you know, it might not be worth it for you to apply it here, and maybe you would only want to do it on half of your pivot here. And then you've got these other 2 where I would definitely recommend you put on this product. And then you would be able to say, oh, all of a sudden I'm finding that this biological product works a lot better than it used to. I mean, it's not working better, it's just that now you know why it works and where it should work and where it should be applied.
Yeah, it becomes more consistent with that precision recommendation. I think that's how I look at it. And that gets rid of that snake oil effect, because now you're not going to have parts of the field that you're like, I didn't see anything. I'm the grower, I didn't see anything, so I'm not going to ever use that again. So we overcome that. And then it gives the sales team, I think, whether the retailer or the manufacturer, and now we're putting the product where it's going to be most effective because we're backed up by data. I think this is really cool. This is kind of, to me, the meat and potatoes of BeCrop Farm and how we can really help solve a lot of problems in the industry.
Exactly. And the thing that I love about this is it's not limited to biologicals. So a lot of times we think that biological testing, what we want to know is where to put biological solutions. And it's true, we can do that, but it's so much more. So for example, let's go back to our nitrogen story. So I'm gonna focus in on inorganic nitrogen release. So one of the things that we can do is we can actually, up here you can look at, we've got the biological side, but we've also got physical chemical side. So I'm going to look at the physical chemical side, and I'm going to look at the nitrogen. So this is going to give you the nitrate nitrogen values. In this case, it goes from kind of a black as being low to a white being high. So you can see that we've got two fields, one that's really low and one that's really high in nitrogen. So we've got this cool little feature here where we can go to this comparison mode. And now what I'm going to do, so I've got that same kind of nitrogen story here. And then this second, what I'm going to pull up is kind of our nitrogen piece. Okay, so I think that this is really cool because one is it's saying, okay, here you've got in this field, you've got high nitrogen, but you've got very low nitrogen release. So that means it's there, it's just tied up so that it is biologically unavailable. So right now, there's not a whole lot that's happening. And so you would look at this and you'd say, okay, my chemical tests are telling me that I've got pretty good nitrogen in this field. I don't need to add anything, but my plants are starved of nitrogen. And that's because it's not being released. It's not available for, and so in this case, in this field, the recommendation would be, well, you need to put something on the field, a biological product that is going to kind of help to release some of the nitrogen that is tied up in that field. Now, the second field, however, we see that there is low nitrogen. So there's not a whole lot of nitrogen there, and that there is low nitrogen release. So in this case, it might not be a biological answer because there's just not a whole lot of nitrogen there. So in this case, you might want to say, in this case, yeah, add some nitrogen fertilizer to this. You might also want to add some, something that's going to actually keep that nitrogen from being tied up. And so this is allowing you to kind of, not only sell just biological products, but to know where to sell those biological products and where to say, actually, this is a nutrient solution, not a biological solution. So in this case, maybe I would recommend adding both the nitrogen fertilizer as well as potentially something that's going to release that nitrogen. And then, again, if you wanted to know, what does that look like? Again, we can just go back here to the agronomic insights, and we'll be able to scroll down and say, okay, here are some of the things that we've got that will release that nitrogen. So, in this field, yeah, let's, in fact, hey, Bacillus megaterium showed up for phosphorus too. So let's get a product that has Bacillus megaterium, put it on both of these fields, and then add some nitrogen to this field, and you'll be able to see some real improvement in those crops. Again, if this is just kind of the dynamic way of looking at it. If you want that report, you can click on the field, you can click on download report, and it's going to give you all of kind of the PDF format that's kind of walk you through each one of these, so you don't have to go kind of screen by screen. It's going to kind of give you kind of each one of those individually, so you can kind of scroll down through this. It does have some of the suggested products as well, we can see here. And so this is if you're a paper person and you definitely like those reports, you can use this. It also kind of helps to show where that sweet spot where you kind of need that nitrogen. We're definitely low, and so we need to do something to improve that nitrogen in this field. So this is just kind of a very high level view of what we can do with kind of this BeCrop farm tool. And so to me, I see it as on the trial side, we're able to start to say, we can figure out what products work in different biologies and how they work. And then from the farm side, we're able to say, okay, we found out the biology now of the field, what products will work in that field to basically unlock the pathways that need to be unlocked. And so we can start to do all that. And we can even, if we've done enough testing at different locations, we can actually start to get down to, if the retailer really wants to look at it, where their product is actually listed here. Right now, it's product agnostic. And Sarah and Jim might be rolling their eyes because I don't know if they approve of this approach. But I think if I had a large, I'm a retailer, I've got a lot of farmers, I've got a large group of, of products that I'm selling, something like this would be great for my sales team to be able to kind of put those together.
Yeah, no, I second. I think that's a really cool feature that we can provide, and we've actually heard that from people we've talked to in the field that, hey, can we put our products in your recommendation list? And so we took that information back to our product development team, and like Jacob was touching on, we should have that ability. But I mean, we want to have a scalable customer that, it's because it's going to take a lot of work and effort to build that in. So certainly, and to me, if I'm a sales rep going out to sell a new biostimulant, for example, and I can show with data the product that's recommended is the one that I'm selling, it's right here, and we have all this behind it. I mean, to me, it's almost a no-brainer. So yeah, we've definitely heard from our customers, and we've been working really hard to get that function.
Yeah, I mean, are there any questions that have come in, Sarah? Are there anything else? I mean, we could talk about this all day, but I really want to see if there's any feedback or any.
A question had come in if we conduct any analysis of enzymatic activity.
No. So we have. So basically, what we're doing is we're using the taxonomy as a proxy for function. So we do it as a. So for example, if we, like, what we'll do is we'll get back like the abundance of organisms that have, dehydrogenases within these samples. And from that, we can infer, okay, if the organisms are there, if the organisms are increasing in abundance based on the treatment that we've done, then whatever feature, whatever function is increasing is a function that is benefited. So if dehydrogenase is increasing, then, or the organisms that have that function are increasing, then dehydrogenases are increasing. But we haven't really looked at the enzymes themselves, at least not in a very concerted way at this point.
Jacob, did you get a chance? I apologize, I was going back and forth answering some of the questions on the side, but did you get a chance to talk about the chemical side of things and how we could add that to the platform so you can get a side-by-side view of both chemical and biology?
Yeah, I'm happy to do it again. So we've partnered with several different labs that will, so you can send a sample, for example, Regen Labs. You can send a sample and they will do both our microbiological side and as well as the traditional physical chemical side. And so if you've done that, then you would get both of these. If you just want the microbiological, then the physical chemical would be left blank. But if you send, it's called a BeCrop Plus, and they'll basically do the traditional physical chemical as well as this microbiological, and then you'll have this whole suite of features that go through all of the traditional physical chemical, but as well, it provides the biological side of that as well. And so you'll be able to have both of these that then you can compare, and you can start to look at kind of this side-by-side comparison of what's going on in these different fields.
Thank you, Jacob. Questions have come in regarding pricing, because we presented two different solutions, and obviously the prices differ between the two solutions. To clarify, on the BeCrop farm side, the $7 an acre, our standard pricing, includes the cost of sampling as well. The BeCrop trials, that's when we're looking at the impact of a product, and we are designing trials together with you and to sort of understand what your objectives are and what you're looking to achieve, and the cost of that will be determined based on the project and the scope. And that starts at $250 per sample. But again, we would have to get in touch and learn more about what you're looking to achieve. With the BeCrop farm, the way it works, we would require your shape files for your farm. We would enter that into our smart sampling software, where we are analyzing over 1,000 different parameters. We look at NDVIs, we look at satellite imagery, we look at the soil, and we basically decide based on that smart sampling solution where we need to collect samples from. We would then communicate back with your team, collect the samples where they're needed, and you'll send us those samples. We'll analyze them and have this platform for you available within 4 weeks or so. Our timelines are actually getting much closer to that, the 4-week mark, because we want to make sure we're getting back to you in a timely manner. So you have all of this data available to you. And so it's important for you, if you're interested in connecting with us and getting projects started before the next season, that we connect, run some trials together, some test runs together, and help you guys sort of see the impact of this new solution for your growers, and hopefully get you guys on a bigger scale projects in fall of 2025, like Jim mentioned earlier. We also actually integrate with several big platforms such as John Deere, CNH, FieldView will be coming in January. So that makes it a lot easier for you and your clients to be able to send us the shape files and gain access to the platform, and as well as transfer the data back to if you're using any of those platforms or any others that we're able to connect to through an NDVI or API, sorry. And that way it makes it a lot easier for you to have all of that data under one platform. So we have those capabilities, and we can make those connections to make things a lot more seamless and easier for you guys. Lastly, what I wanted to mention was that we are currently able to map out the entire United States biological landscape across corn and soy. And we're able to basically help manufacturers or retailers who are very much focused on those two types of crops, to be able to map out either their commercial activities or are looking to perhaps run trials in areas that they think their product would most impact. So if you are interested, this is a new solution that we're going to be introducing in the market early 2025. And we're going to actually give that as a free of charge sort of service as a starter to a lot of our clients, and obviously the grower community, to give them more insights into their landscape, especially if they're in corn and soy. So that's another solution that will be coming. We'll obviously do a lot more webinars and content around that. But if you are interested, please get in touch with us. I've included my email address in the chat here as well, so we can get on a quick call and discuss further. I don't think we have any further questions that have come in. I think I have answered most, either privately or have the team have they've covered it here. Jim, Jacob, any final closing thoughts before we end the webinar?
I just want to thank everybody for their time. I know how busy it is this time of the year, and we have, the holiday season coming up. So if you want a demo or want to learn more about what we have to offer, just please reach out and let us know. We've got an eager sales team ready to, talk and run through whether it's a demo or help set up a test drive. So thanks everybody, and yeah, look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think, yeah, just mine, I guess my comment is that um, this is much more than just biologicals. So biologicals, we've got it down where this is great, but it can also be practices. So if you're saying, hey, what what cover crop should I use? How should I, what does no-till do to my biology? So all of these other questions about any kind of management practice, we've been working with universities to look at these. And so it's the things that we're able to do is any kind of practice that you're doing that is impacting soil health and soil biology.
Absolutely. Okay, well, thanks again, everyone, for joining us. Jim and Jacob, thank you for joining us as well and sharing your wisdom with the team. We appreciate you and everyone that's joined us. Again, the recording will be emailed to you within the next 24 hours, and get in touch with us if you have any questions or just want a more in-depth demo. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Thanks.